You've been asking for it, and now we're going to give it to you.
Yes, exactly the way you want it.
Everyone's been asking us what we drive, what have you driven, what's your favorite car? They want to get to know us.
All right.
Let's jump in.
Let's dive deep into, let's take a trip, a proverbial trip down memory lane.
That's right.
With previous vehicles we've owned.
Yeah, and Tom's is going to start before mine, because Tom's predates my birth.
Yes. I was driving cars when Russell was still in diapers.
Yes.
Probably even before you were born. No. You were 3 when I got my driver's license.
All right.
That's how old I am. Okay. All right, so this is not an exhaustive list of every single car we've owned. These are ones that we've taken pictures of and we've managed to hold on to through the years. So the first one I'm going to share with everybody, this is a 1969 Volkswagen Bug. I bought this from a buddy for $800.
Nice.
And then I fixed it up, and this is how it ended up.
Okay. I was going to ask
if after I fixed. Yeah, it's the same Bug. I just fixed it up. I got an Earl Scheib paint job. Back when you could get an Earl Scheib paint job for $99.
Yeah, in South Carolina, it was Peaches. They had a place called Peaches and a place, Mako, obviously, before, yeah.
Did you get a car painted there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So this one right here is a Volkswagen Squareback, obviously. For the whole 80s into the early 90s, I was a big air-cooled Volkswagen guy. This one's a 73 Squareback. It's pretty rare because it has a sunroof.
Okay.
And a fiberglass one-piece front end, like a dragster.
I was going to ask, is that a stock front end?
No, this is, if your car got smashed, you could buy a one-piece front end, and it would replace the hood, the fenders, everything, and it just hinged on the front.
Now, is the motor in the rear on that car?
The motor's in the back, yeah. It's in the back.
That would only make sense because there's no louvers or anything in the front.
Right,
so.
yeah. And this thing, I never really got to drive it much because I bought it. All of my cars I bought cheap, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. I never really got to drive it much because I could never get the engine sorted out.
Yeah.
But I just wasted money on wheels, tires.
It looks cool.
And paint. Yeah.
It looks cool.
All right, so in this one, you can see my earlier Bug and my 65 VW bus, which I kind of ruined because I lowered it. And I told the guy, hey, I want the lowest bus in Fresno.
Okay.
And it was the lowest bus in Fresno, but when you went over railroad tracks in it, hubcaps flying off.
Yeah.
And it had this cool arm, so you'd be in the driver's seat, and it had this cool arm that you'd reach over, and it was like a school bus. It had this thing that would open the door. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was an add-on. It wasn't an original VW piece. All right. This was a 1970 Volkswagen Westfalia camper. I went halvesies on this with the girlfriend that I had at the time. She had a Datsun 720 pickup, long bed. She sold it, and then we went together and bought this bus.
All right.
Drove it all over California. It was really cool.
Awesome.
That's one I wish I still had. Okay, this one, 1957 DeSoto Fire Sweep. I bought this off the original owner. She was in her 80s.
A what?
DeSoto Fire Sweep.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Chrysler product.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I loved that car. This was the first car I bought that my dad was like, yeah, that's a cool car. You did good on that one.
There you go.
So this one got my dad's seal of approval. And I loved it. It had push button on the dash for changing, putting it in gear and stuff Yeah, loved that car. Got it for $1,100. It was so nice. This one, 1986 Dodge Colt with Enkeis. And I don't know if you can see in the picture, but the rear window has like one of those metal louvers on the outside. I used to tell everybody it was a Mitsubishi Mirage because Dodge Colt just sounds generic. That was a good car.
Yeah.
All right, so one that I was especially proud of. This is back when Beverly Hills 90210 was like the hot TV show.
Yeah.
Remember Dylan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought this when I was 21, and I thought I was Dylan McKay. And I just emulated that guy. Got the 62 Porsche 356B. Bought it from Cop. It kind of burned oil quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I sold it for what I bought it for, which is pretty rare. Usually I lose money on my cars. But this is going up to, let's see, 6, 9, 7, 8. This is probably 1991, 92 that I got this.
Okay.
And I was working at Chief Auto Parts, and the manager accused me of theft. Because how else could I afford a Porsche? The manager, Chief, I won't name names. But he tried to friend me a while back on Facebook, and I was like, no, dude.
That's pretty wild. So I'm going to jump in here now because now, going by years, we're kind of back where I need to be. Now, I have a handful of pictures of this car. This is a 1982 Chevrolet El Camino.
Look at that sunset. I know that's why you went out there.
100%. 100%. It was probably with a disposable camera.
With a flash.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the front end. That's funny. But this was my grandfather's car. And when he passed away, I was probably like 12, 13 when he passed. And I went to my grandma, went straight to her, bypassed everyone else in the family. And I said, hey, can I have that car? And she was like, you can have it when you get your driver's license.
Wow, okay, that's motivation.
So my uncle ran a body shop, and I asked him if he would paint it. So I'm going to make everybody mad here on the Nissan channel. I got this thing painted. It was Toyota Super White. My mom had a Supra, and I was like, I want to paint it the same color as that. I like the color. It was just white. And so I drove this car in high school for a couple years. My first car, and yeah, more pictures. I got so many pictures of this thing.
Well, it's your first car.
So many. Yeah.
That was your ticket to freedom.
So yeah, I put a stereo system in it. You know much about El Caminos?
They're based on like a Chevelle or Malibu front end, right?
Yeah. So behind the seat, the spare tire was stored. There was like a cubby that went into the bed, like between the bed and the cab. There was like a hole that went up under there. So I had a shop build me a box and whole sound system with like 4 8-inch subs in there, and it set back in there. And anyway, that was about the time right before some dude pulled out in front of me in a big box fan. It's not good. So yeah, destroyed the front end of the car, and my dad was like, you're gonna have to move on. Now, this was my favorite car back in the day.
I can see why.
This is a 1985 Subaru GL hatchback. My dad got this car for next to nothing at a dealership he worked at. Somebody left it behind. Cool fact about this car is that the spare tire was on top of the motor. And do y'all remember the glow shift knobs? They were clear shift knobs that had like a neon light inside of them.
Oh, really?
And it would light up. You had to plug it into the lighter.
Okay.
I had one of those in there. It was terrible because you'd shift gears and you could feel it like flex. It was like, yeah. And then I don't remember what year this car was. I think it was a 96 Mazda MX-6. And I don't have any front end. This was a nice car. I liked it. Little 4-cylinder car. I was getting really heavy into stereo stuff. That was like my whole thing when I was in high school. I wanted to be a stereo installer, so I was like learning everything I could.
What's that sticker on the back window?
The speaker one was from a company called Bostwick, and I don't know what the other ones are. The ones on the side said Sony. Oh, the one on the bottom was a stereo shop that I used to hang out at and learn stuff from the guy. But this atrocious thing.
Did you build that?
Yeah, that's a speaker box that I built.
And that went in the back of your 626?
MX-6.
MX-6, sorry.
Same thing, pretty much. It never went in.
Because it wouldn't fit in the door. You were like,
I just, I put 4 12-inch subs in the back of this car, and it was insane. But before I could get any further on this, my dad crashed my car. Because he borrowed it and smashed it.
Did he tell you that he was borrowing it?
I don't think so. No, he didn't.
So he stole it, basically.
Yeah. Jump back into yours, because I just took over.
All right. So, this is mid-1990s. I bought a 1986 Isuzu Trooper. What I did was that DeSoto that you saw earlier, it overheated. There was a seam leak on the radiator, and it overheated one day, and it developed a little tick, like tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
And in the mid-90s, you couldn't find parts for that car. There was no going online to try and find parts. And that thing had a 325 V8, and I couldn't find lifters for it. So I was like, okay, I'll just take it, and I'll used that actually as a trade-in at a dealership in Fresno to get this Isuzu Trooper. And the Isuzu Trooper I had for a while. It was a good rig, 5-speed, 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But it blew a head gasket. And it was like, do I fix it or do I get something else? At the same time that I had the Isuzu Trooper, we're back to Volkswagens again. This one's a 73 convertible Bug. I just had that for a short time. The top was down for so long. I bought it like it was a barn find.
Yeah.
The top was down for so long it would not go up again. It just like stuck.
It was seized.
So I washed it, waxed it, painted the wheels, and then sold it, made a profit actually.
Nice.
All right, so when the Isuzu Trooper blew a head gasket, I could either pay money to get it fixed or I could buy something else. So I gave the Trooper to my sister. She used it as a trade-in at a Honda dealership. She got a Honda, and I bought this car, which is one that I still have. It's a 1959 Rambler American Super. It's a bathtub Nash, that's what they call it. I still have this one. It's in Fresno.
Yeah,
one of these
cool.
days I'm going to bring it up here because I love that car. I also had a 1972 International Scout. This is on the day that I bought it. I ended up lifting it, putting some big rims on it, big tires. It got hit by a drunk driver parked in front of my apartment. Totaled. Here we go. 1965 Rambler Classic 770 wagon. That was a good car too. Sold it. I had a kid, and I wanted to get a sensible family car.
That's it right there. Look at all that
That's what I
room.
bought. That's what I bought. It was just an excuse.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm living in San Francisco, and I started my own Vespa repair shop, and I needed a truck to tow.
Perfect.
Yeah, I needed a truck to tow people's broken down Vespas in. This is a 1967 Datsun 520 pickup. Bought it for $1,000. Sold it a couple of years later for $5,000.
Yeah.
That was a good deal.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, here's another car I still own.
That's a boat.
This is my 1973 Lincoln Continental. Bought this from the daughter of the original owner, and it's in good shape, but it just sits at my sister's house.
Yeah.
And if I bring this up here, my wife is going to kill me. She already said.
Yeah.
All right, last one for now. This is a 1970 Fiat 850 Sport Coupe. This is one that I bought as just a bucket. Did not run. No, everything was wrong with it. I just bought it because I wanted something to work on. I bought this, rebuilt the engine, rebuilt the transmission, repainted it, and sold it at a major loss. That's it.
Fun.
And then there's other cars, but
Yeah.
we can talk about those in some other video.
So, my 93 Altima, you've heard me talk about it. I loved it. Absolutely love that car. And this is just going to be a stock photo of it because the car I had, you can find it all over the internet. It's the same. It was completely stock. Had alloy wheels on it, like the 5-spoke. It was really popular. Nice. This car, I took really good care of. It's probably the car I took the most care of. Me and my dad put front and rear shocks, struts, springs, everything on it. Redid the suspension, updated it. I'm on the way home. I get 2 miles away from his house, and a deer runs out in front of me. Just blew the car up. Whole front end was destroyed. So that car was gone. And later on, skip a couple cars. I'm only sharing this with you guys because y'all care about this kind of stuff. I had an S13 Shell that I got from Dio. He was getting rid of that. And I got his SR20 from him. I had planned on building kind of a street/drift car. And I finally just was like, you know what, I don't want to do it. So got rid of the Shell, gave it to someone just to come get it out of the yard, and sold the SR20 to buy my 69 Datsun. Now that is what you want for a daily, is a 69 521 that you slam to the ground, that scrapes, and when you go over roto tracks, it makes you feel
Things fly off.
makes you gonna feel like you're gonna blow up. Then I had a B14 200SX for a little bit. That car was a pile, had over 200,000 miles on it. I didn't know if I was
You
going to
drove
get
it here a few times.
Oh, I drove it for a while.
Okay.
I didn't know if I was going to get back and forth, though. I was like, I'm going to break down somewhere. And finally, I got rid of that one. And now I have my Sentra SER.
Clean machine.
2010. It's got 170,000 miles on it. And when you put that into perspective, that car is in mint condition.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
stuff that's wrong with it. Obviously, it's got 170,000 miles on it. But it's super clean for what it is. And I'm Gonna do a video on that. We're gonna do a video on Tom's Pathfinder too. So
Let me ask you this. Looking at your car photos,
Yep.
is there any cars that stand out and you just look at it and a tune pops in your head?
Ooh, yeah. I would say the El Camino, anything from Outkast, A.T. Aliens album. Anything from that. Wheels of Steel, Two Dope Boys in Cadillac, anything. Anything.
That is what you were bumping in the El Camino?
All the time. Yeah.
Did you give it a nickname? Like, did you call it the Elk? Or was it the Camino? Or it was just
I called it the highway
the highway?
because it confused people. What do you got? You got any songs?
All right, so this Volkswagen, the white Volkswagen Bug, if you look at the front license plate, it says V-Dub Posse.
Yeah.
All right, so full disclosure, I did listen to rap music back then.
Yeah.
And so I was really into the Beastie Boys and Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I tried starting my own Volkswagen club.
Your posse on Broadway?
My posse was on Blackstone. Blackstone. But that was kind of a one-man show, my car club.
Yeah.
No songs. None. The Porsche, I would say the theme music for Beverly Hills 90210.
So my 85 Subaru that I had, I don't have any theme music for this one, but my sister called it the Bean because she said it looked like a pinto bean. It was brown. One of my friends in school called it the Turd. Oh man, it's funny because people laughed at me in that car, and I absolutely loved it. I used to drive, so I was living in Newberry, South Carolina when I had that car, and I used to drive to Clemson, and I could probably map it out really quick. I feel like it was an hour and a half drive, 2 hours. I used to drive up there to that school all the time to see my girlfriend. All the time on the road with that car. Never had any issues. I don't even know if I ever changed the oil in it. I don't know. My dad took care of it, so it probably got changed. He'd probably changed the oil in it.
That was back in the day when you would look at your oil, and if it wasn't black, it was still okay.
Yeah.
That was my mindset back then.
Yeah.
So my 73 Lincoln Continental, I was living in Oakland, California at that time.
Okay.
And for some reason, I was like, because whenever I have an old car, I want to listen to music that is of the period. So in my Lincoln, I listened a lot to the Superfly soundtrack. It's like a 70s movie. Pusher Man and all that in it.
Yeah.
And then when I bought this was mid to late 90s that I bought it, and I was really into rockabilly music back then. So I was listening to stuff from like 1956 to 59.
You could have also listened to Dazed and Confused.
With the Lincoln?
Yeah. That's a pretty good soundtrack. If you've never listened to it, you should check it out.
I'll have to check it out.
But yeah, that's it, guys. We want to know, though.
Yes. What are the cars that you have owned that you sold and you wish you still had?
Yeah. It's really funny because I don't know if I would have thought it then, but that Subaru, I look on Facebook Marketplace every now and then for one of those Subarus, and because I feel like I want to get one to put my kids in it because I had it. And
I found one on Facebook Marketplace.
oh, they exist.
Yeah.
They
They're
exist.
still out there.
Well, we're in a Subaru area now. Everybody's got Subarus, but they probably want too much for it. I want to pay $500 for it.
Like the old days.
Yeah. So tell us about your cars. Tell us about your parents' cars. All that good stuff. Did your parents have any cool cars?
Yeah. I thought they were cool. When we first moved to this country, my dad bought a 1971 Mercury Marquis Brougham. And those things are rare now. You can't find them anywhere. And I used any excuse to drive it. I was like, hey, can I take your car to the car wash? I'll wash your car for you. You need gas? I'll go put gas in it for you.
My dad, so when I was growing up, in our driveway set a 62 Impala Super Sport.
Nice.
Didn't have a motor in it. My dad was a mechanic. He was an engine builder. He had all these V8 blocks, heads, cams, all this stuff laying around for years that he said he was going to, build. And I wanted him to. He never did. And he finally sold that car. But I used to sit in it and pretend like I was driving.
Yeah.
Had an 8-track in it. Yeah. That was the days sitting there pretending. How many of y'all don't have a driver's license and pretend now? Kids. I thought that's what my kids are doing. How about Devlin?
No, he's not really, he likes cars, he likes supercars for a while, but he doesn't really talk about it much anymore. Now he's just soccer, crazy.
He's into it.
Yeah, he's soccer mad, and then he's also doing a lot of Minecraft and Fortnite
Yeah.
and soccer games on the Switch.
That's what kids are into now. They're not in. They don't desire to have a car like we did because we didn't have all the video games. I mean, I did kind of later on had the video games, but I feel like now it's like I just need to get home so I can get to my games.
Right. Sad.
All right, that's long enough, I think, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Stick around.
Till next week. Till next week.
Yes.
Bye. See ya.